Tucked away in the remote hills of Himachal lies Andhpur, a small, isolated village. Right on its edge sits an old, completely dried-up stone well that locals actively avoid. According to village folklore, as soon as the sun goes down, the quiet around the well breaks. People report hearing the sharp, rhythmic ringing of silver anklets, followed by the sight of a hazy figure sitting by the edge, weeping into the dark. Driven by generations of superstition, the villagers quickly labeled the figure a restless spirit. Categorizing the sightings as a generic haunting allowed them to stop asking questions, leaving the potential real-world origins of the figure unexplored for 15 years. The most powerful man in Andhpur was Thakur Vikram Singh. He was wealthy, highly respected, and preparing for a high-status marriage. Yet, despite his position, Vikram lived in a constant state of deep, irrational panic. Around this time, a young journalist named Aryan returned to his ancestral home in the village. Working in the city had trained Aryan to look for empirical facts, meaning he viewed rural folklore as a product of collective imagination. To document what he assumed was a local hoax, Aryan spent a night out by the well. He didn't find a projection or a prankster. Instead, he watched a translucent woman in a white dress extend her arm, pointing straight down into the dry abyss. The figure made no attempt to interact with Aryan. Her focus remained fixed on the bottom of the shaft. To a journalist trained in observation, this repetitive, specific physical gesture looked less like a random haunting and more like a targeted distress signal. Aryan's first instinct was to search for a physical explanation. He began treating the well as a site to be investigated, looking for any recorded history that could explain why a person might have been associated with that specific location. Digging through old village records and speaking with the elders, Aryan uncovered the name Maya. She was a young local woman who had vanished without a single trace exactly 15 years earlier. The official village consensus was that Maya had eloped to the city to escape a scandal. At the time of her disappearance, rumors were swirling about a secret romance between her and a much younger Vikram. This timeline compares Maya's disappearance with the first reports of the well apparition. They overlap with surgical precision. If sightings began the night she supposedly left, the runaway theory collapses. The data suggests her timeline ended at the base of the stone well. Aryan began watching Vikram closely. He noticed that whenever the wealthy landowner had to walk anywhere near the old well, he would break into a sweat. His breathing would quicken, and he would lengthen his route to maintain a wide distance. In psychology, leakage occurs when a person carries extreme, unaddressed guilt. The brain eventually fails to contain the stress, and it spills over into the physical world as irrational, paralyzing fears of external objects or places. Vikram's panic was a physical reaction to a specific memory. He feared the well because it was the physical site of a crime he believed he had successfully hidden. Aryan hid in the dense bushes near the well late one night, waiting. Vikram eventually approached the edge of the stone shaft, visibly intoxicated, staggering and muttering to himself in the dark. The environment reacted instantly. The ambient temperature dropped, and the air filled with the sharp, deafening ringing of silver anklets. Maya's spirit rose directly out of the dry shaft. Her neck was twisted at an unnatural angle, and dark blood poured from her eyes. Vikram collapsed to his knees. Screaming into the empty air, he begged Maya for forgiveness and shouted that the death had been an accident. This diagram illustrates the incident. During a heated argument, Vikram shoved Maya. She survived the initial impact at the bottom. Trapped and calling for help, she threatened his reputation. To ensure her silence, he dropped a heavy stone down the shaft, burying her alive. Aryan hadn't come to the well alone. He stepped out of the shadows with a group of villagers who had heard every word of Vikram's spontaneous confession. The police were called immediately. By dawn, a team began the formal excavation of the dry well to recover what had been hidden for 15 years. Deep beneath the heavy boulder, the team found skeletal remains. Resting in the soil was a distinctive silver locket. the same one Vikram had gifted to Maya before she vanished. This physical evidence moved the case from the realm of folklore into the legal system. It provided the material proof needed to convert a village myth into a prosecutable homicide. As police led a handcuffed Vikram away, the white figure appeared one last time. She offered a brief smile before dissolving into the morning wind. Since that day, the sound of the anklets has stopped. A permanent silence has finally fallen over the well and the village of Andhpur. Guilt creates a haunting that no perpetrator can outrun. A buried truth will continue to surface until it finds the resolution of justice.